How intense is Jon Bernthal?
He's a
from
kitty
The Punisher?
cat. He's a kitty
I
cat.
met him once and he was really sweet, but he's got this intensity in all his roles that I'm just like, I remember he told me a story. He was working with Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
And Sylvester said he was boxing, and Sylvester Stallone came and took his something. It was his rosin. I don't know what it was, but it's something you don't do. And he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" To Stallone, I was like, "What?" And he says, "You know better than anybody that you don't take that from another boxer." He's like, "Hey, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry about that." He put it back down, and he got a little intense. But he told me some great stories. But he's about meeting Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
And did he ever tell you that story?
No, he didn't tell me
He
that
wanted
story.
to meet Robert De Niro after they worked together.
Uh-huh.
And at the end, he goes, "Look, I waited the whole time. I just want to say," well, De Niro goes, "Why don't you come in the trailer after? Have a drink." Whatever. I don't do De Niro. And he comes in the trailer and Bernthal kind of says, I love this story. He says, De Niro's thinking they're just going to have a drink and two guys hanging out.
Right.
And Bernthal's like, "I just got to say this. You're my idol, man."
Wow.
I mean, he's you don't have to do this. And you could tell De Niro's really uncomfortable. He's like, no, I want to say this. I goes, "It's unnecessary. You don't have to do this." He's like, "No, I have to say this." He's like, "Okay." And he just went on about how much he loved him and how it meant to him and working with him and how he's acting. And I go, "So then he loved it, right?" He goes, "No, it was the most uncomfortable, awkward fucking thing that ever happened in my life."
Yeah.
But is he intense?
Yeah, I mean, certainly he can be, but generally, especially with me, I would say I can only speak from our relationship. He was supportive. He lifted me up. He always talked about how excited he was to work with me, how much he wanted me to cross over and do the work with him on Punisher. We would still love to work together on other things in the future. So I have a lot of love and respect for Jon. So he's
great. He's a great actor.
Great actor.
Great.
And I always said Jon's failing is actually how great of an actor he is, or not his failing, but his Achilles heel maybe is that, because, we'll read a script and, most actors, we go, "Oh yeah, this is good." And you get really excited about the thing. And sometimes that blinds you a little bit to some of the logic of the scene, because you can just suspension of disbelief, just skate right by it. Not Jon. Jon will read something and he'll be like, "Okay, it's good. So, but why would I give her the gun?" And you're like, "Oh, why would he?" And suddenly you're like, "Oh yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Why are we doing?" And then suddenly you've got an hour on set where you're trying to figure out what you're going to do instead, kind of thing, kind of because Jon is too good at what he does.